We're set up on the tripod. The sign right there at the bottom of the hydro pole, it says, "Slow down, please." Well, I really don't think they're talking to me. I'm going slow as it is. Up there is a blaze. And we are on Zoo Park Road, Wasaga Beach. Hey, Wasaga Beach just happens to be my hometown. I don't know if I've ever told you this before, but I live, maybe 50 yards off the Ganaraska Trail as it passes through Wasaga Beach. Oh yeah, I live right on the Ganaraska Trail. Good morning, everybody. Jasper here. Well, today is, I think it's April the 26th. Definitely a Wednesday. I know that. Beautiful morning. It's gray, but there is a little bit of blue here and there. As I'm sure everybody in Ontario has had quite a bit of rain over the last week or so, maybe, on and off. Beautiful forest to my right, and homes to my left. Yeah, so the Ganaraska Trail runs right down Zoo Park Road in Wasaga Beach. We started this hike 10 minutes ago, just from my house. We are heading today on a day hike. It's just a day hike, 27 kilometers for the round. We're heading from where I started, again, at my home, to the Tiny Marsh on the Ganaraska Trail. We're hiking in the Tiny section of the Ganaraska Trail. Well, I guess Wasaga Beach and Tiny. Yeah, the end of the Wasaga Beach section, and I guess maybe half of the Tiny, whatever. So we're hiking to the Tiny Marsh. But the Tiny Marsh is about a 1.5 to 2 kilometer loop, Blue Blaze Trail that we're going to do. And then we're going to hike back the way we came. And that will give us a total of 27 kilometers on trail today, about 17 miles. We have a lunch packed, some fruit, some yogurt, some bars, some coffee, some electrolyte juice, water. So we're good to go. Hey, thank you for joining me today. Glad you're here. Oh yeah. At the end of the road is the lake. We're going to jump right on that shoreline and going to walk past all the sand dunes, which is actually quite pretty. With Georgian Bay will be on our left. Yeah. Then we're going to head up Archer Road. At the end of Archer Road, we're going to enter into the forest, hike through the forest. We'll eventually come out on a kind of dead-end gravel road, and that will eventually take us to the Tiny Marsh. So yeah, a little bit of a mixed bag of cookies today. It's an easy trail, or an easy section of trail. Definitely not hard. There's no major climbs or anything like that on this particular trail. It's pretty much a flat trail. Oh, there's another blaze in the tree. Oh, in the tree. On the electrical pole. Yeah, it's pretty much a flat trail. So I put it in the kind of easy category. We're going to be walking on kind of, well, right now the side of the road on the kind of gravel. And we'll be walking on a sand kind of road, past and through the sand dunes and along the lakeshore. A little bit of asphalt, then forest, and then about a 6 kilometer gravel, little kind of dead-end gravel country lane, if you will, or road to the actual Tiny Marsh itself. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. Again, thank you for joining me, and let's just get into this hike, shall we? Heading along the sand dunes, or along the side of the sand dunes, there's access points down to the beach. You can see the bay, the water, Georgian Bay. Nice and flat today. Fishermen out there. To my right, condos, people that live there with beautiful views year round. It's very pretty through here in the winter time, although much more challenging as far as the trail is concerned. And the trail itself right now, again, along the side of the sand dunes. These are all protected. See, Wasaga Beach, protected area, and it indicates, of course, where you can get access to the beach. Behind me, I don't know if you can hear this, but there's construction going on, more homes. I think that's actually another little condo complex. Don't know how little. Maybe townhouses, that kind of thing. I realize a lot of people don't want to be hiking past construction, but I actually enjoy, on the times I come through here, watching the progress. When they start clearing the land to the actual finished kind of product, if you will, the actual homes or townhouses or condos or whatever. I'm watching them break ground and build foundations and kind of build from there. Just ahead of me, a right turn blaze, if you can see it on the post ahead of me. So we are definitely still on the Ganaraska Trail. And we have a right turn blaze. Now, we could actually just as easy walk right along the beach there. But for some reason, it doesn't tell us to do that if you want to be a purist on the Ganaraska Trail. It takes us to the right here and back to, I think it's, well, it's not Tiny Beaches Road because we're not in Tiny yet. We're still in Wasaga Beach, so I guess it's Shore Lane still. But we're very much at the northeast east end of Wasaga. Yeah. As I said before, it's an easy kind of going trail. It's a fair bit of distance at 27 kilometers. You know, you're going to spend 3/4 of your day hiking this particular trail, or day, whatever. But if a person's interested, the Walmart at Wasaga Beach is just off trail by a couple of 100 yards maybe. And it's a great place to park for the day. And you can just jump on trail and do exactly the same hike as I'm doing today. And because I live right by Walmart, I just leave my car at home in the driveway, walk out of my front door. And I suggest, if you haven't already got this particular app, it's called Ondago, and for free you can download all the Ganaraska Trail maps and then follow them. It also has GPS, which shows you exactly where you are on trail. Maybe later today I'll show you that when I get my app out, or phone out. I'll show you the actual app and the blip, little blue dot that represents the hiker, or in this case me. So here we have a left turn blaze, and as I say, this brings us back to Shore Lane. We're going to follow this again for a little while, and then we're going to drop back down again on that little beach kind of road, past more sand dunes, before eventually reaching Archer Road, where we'll make the right turn and then heading to the forest, which is pretty, by the way. It's a pretty forest through there. Okay. Beach type homes to my left and also to my right. Cottage courts. Here's one called Gigi's Cottage Court. All these places are very busy in the summertime, and then of course nothing goes on there in the winter or the spring, but it won't be long now. In fact, I'm a little surprised when I walk past some of these cottage courts. I don't see the owners out there getting everything cleaned up and ready to go, because it's actually in another week, less than a week, we're into May, and the tourists will start to come. Oh well. Keep going. A little blaze there ahead of me on the left. Again on the electric pole, hydro pole. Okay, let's keep going. That's a shot of the app, kind of real time. You can see that kind of blue, kind of pulsating dot, if you will. Well, that shows me. And that kind of purple line, I guess it is purple, is the actual trail itself. So as you can see, you don't need Wi-Fi or data to actually get the GPS part of things. Obviously you do need some Wi-Fi to actually download the app and so on, but I have used this app many times. When I through hiked the Ganaraska Trail, I think it was 2020 I through hiked it, and there's a lot of sections, especially in the wilderness section and so on, where you have no Wi-Fi whatsoever, but the app works just fine, and especially the GPS location. That to me was a must-have. Yeah, so that's just a little kind of intro, if you will, into the Ondago app and the Ganaraska Trail. And again, this particular section is the Tiny section. Okay, as you can see, we're back along the shoreline again, and the sand dunes and so on, up the trail a ways. Oh, by the way, now in the summertime, this particular section here, super busy with the summer tourists. Just at the other side of these sand dunes, and there's a little path access there, is the beach. And it's a beautiful freshwater beach. Longest freshwater beach in the world, I'm sure we all know that. And it just brings the tourists by the thousands. So, as I say, if you were thinking of doing this particular section of trail, the parking at the Walmart is 100% the best place to park. It doesn't cost a dime, nobody will bother you. And you can even pick up bottled water and fruit and whatever else you want from there for your hike. It's perfect. They even sell sandwiches. Yeah. Okay. Oh, and when you get back to the Walmart at the end of your hike, there's restaurants. Oh yeah, Harvey's, Swiss Chalet, and other restaurants where you can go and get a bite to eat, a burger or whatever. Rest, relax before you go home. Oh yeah. Okay, let's just keep moving forward. We're going to answer a couple of questions soon. We did get a question from a young lady who lives in Barrie, Ontario. Her name is Rachel. And she's been hiking for quite a while, but she just wanted my 2 cents worth on footwear. And since I last posted or uploaded the video on footwear, and we talked about footwear and so on, I have got a few little different kind of ideas about footwear in regards to footwear. But we'll look at those when we answer Rachel's question. Okay, let's just keep going. Now I think, as we're now back on Shore Lane, I believe Archer is just to the right here. And I think we're going to make, oh yeah, there's the Blaze. So the Blaze is over there where it says Woodland Beach. The Blaze is just on the right post there, showing us a right turn. And from here, we're going to go off Shore Lane and make a right turn onto Archer Road. It's just a short hop. In fact, you can maybe see the trees ahead of us just at the end of this road, which is a T-junction, and that is going to be the entrance into the forest. And then until we're on our way back, there'll be no more kind of beach / sand dune kind of walking. It'll be forest and just kind of gravel country road. Very quiet gravel country road. As I say, when we come out of this forest, it's a dead end kind of thing from that gravel road. So the first half is just down a gravel road. That's a dead end. I mean, it's definitely quiet. Blaze to the right on the electrical pole, hydro pole, right next to the Cedar Lane sign. There's a white Ganaraska Blaze. Okay, let's just keep heading towards the forest. Well, we're in the forest now. However, if you just look to our right, there's homes right there. But then just up here, the homes seem to disappear, and it becomes more of a wildernessy kind of feeling. There's swamp ahead of us, but then I noticed There's a little bit of a reroute, if you will. Well, I don't know if it's a reroute or not, but because there's white blazes going straight through the swamp, but there's also white blazes going around the swamp. So we're going to go around the swamp, by the way. In the fall, this whole trail is beautiful because you've got, again, the shoreline with the kind of fall feeling of the sand dunes. You got the fall colors in the forest. A lot of birch trees through here, by the way, and whatever else is, but you've got beautiful fall colors all the way through here. And then when you come out on the gravel road, you've got country farms, the cows and so on, all the haying going on, and all the fall colors of the trees. And it's just gorgeous. It's just such a picturesque kind of hike, this whole kind of hike that we're doing today. So picturesque in the fall. At any time it is, but in the fall it's just beautiful. Yeah. In the summertime through here, of course, it becomes very buggy. That'll start in, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks. The bugs will start. But it's overall not bad at all. That's why I kind of like this, recommend this hike for pretty much anyone, really. Okay. There's a blaze on the left on a tree. It's right up there, a blaze. Okay, let's keep going. Here, we're coming up to the kind of swamp area. But I notice to the left, we have a trail with a blaze, and it was actually blazed to make a left turn here. I think I'm actually at the wrong side of the trail. I am. We just kind of got to go through these bushes and stuff here. I walked right past the actual turn while I was getting my camera out. But there's a blaze right there in the trail. Now, unlike, say, some other trails, the Ganaraska Trail is not as well kind of traveled, so the trail might not be as defined to the eye, if you will, underfoot, just like kind of here. I mean, I can see where it's going and I can see the blazes. The Bruce tends to be a more traveled kind of trail, especially with the day hikers. So it does, in most cases, seem to be more, again, dominant, more pronounced, if you will, underfoot and to the eye. You can kind of make it out easier. Except, by the way, in the middle of fall, I find the leaves just cover everything. And if it wasn't for the blazes, you might not know where the heck the trail was. But anyhow, the Ganaraska itself, as I say, I thru-hiked Ganaraska in 2020. And it was marked okay. And again, nothing like as well as the Bruce Trail, but it was still marked okay. The wilderness section was definitely iffy. And I did get off trail several times through there. And also, when you were on the actual blazed trail itself, it wasn't very well defined. So it indicated a lack of traffic on the trail. But anyhow, we are going through a muddy, kind of swampy area. And this will dry up a lot, I'm sure, as the summer progresses. But there is, I think, pretty much most of the time, a certain amount of sitting water through here. And because of that fact, there's always going to be a certain amount of mud. But you know what? Time will tell. You know, come July, August, June, whatever, September, we'll take another look as far as the mud level is concerned, or the moisture content of the trail, and maybe do another video at that time, kind of compare the actual trail conditions. Okay, we keep pushing our way through the forest, and again, it's definitely not a hard trail. This piece we're going through right now The forest section is probably the hardest section of the actual trail. And again, it's only because there's some mud here and there, some water here and there, but a little bit of uneven terrain, but minimal elevation gain. There is some, but not much, you know. I don't know what the elevation gain would be on this whole trail. Might be 400 or 500 feet for the whole trail, I don't know. And then right here, I believe here, yeah, there's no marking here. That's what I mean about the lack of marking. There's a blaze right there behind me, but of course that's for traffic coming the other way. There's nothing that tells you to turn right here. However, all left, by the way, because you can go left. However, if you do turn right here, you come out to these like open sand areas. Actually, by the way, great areas for a little kind of wild stealth camp. If you're making, you know, a day or two out of the hike through here. Beautiful area just to, you know, set up a little tent for the night and you'll be fine. Okay. Yeah, because last time, or one time, not last time particularly, but one time I did go wrong on that intersection going back and I went half a mile down the wrong trail. Okay, on a tree ahead of me, kind of below the sunshine, hope you can see that, is a right-hand turn blaze. We make that right turn, and then there's a blaze ahead of me, just to the left of the trail on a tree, and that's indicating us to go straight ahead. So we're definitely on trail, but you got to mind, you know, where you're going. You do have to pay a little bit of attention. There's one or two spots, like there's the blaze right there. There's one or two spots where it's just not marked well enough. Here there's a beautiful left-hand turn blaze. You can plainly see that, but at that last intersection I didn't see any. And we continue along the trail, blaze up ahead on the left, and a little bit of a climb. Okay, let's keep going. The first break of the day. At this particular spot, we're about halfway to the Tiny Marsh, or about a quarter of the way through the day hike. There's an old heating oil tank on the side of the trail. Makes a good chair. The trail behind me, farmland now. We're just about to come out of the forest and begin the gravel road. There's a big, beautiful farm just to my left. All the red buildings. Yeah. Day progresses well. And the sun, I think it's warmer than it was supposed to be, although I'm not sure. The breeze is very cool, but when the sun comes out, there's certainly some heat to it. I took off my toque, my gloves, and my kind of windbreaker / rain type jacket. Anyhow, so it's a good spot just to take a little break, just 5 minutes, and then we're going to push to the actual marsh itself. Yeah. Yeah, what a beautiful, beautiful day to be out here. It's perfect. Okay, I'm going to enjoy my break time. Okay, break time over as we exit from the forest on the east side of the forest now, I guess northeast side, and to my right, the farm property, country home, farm home to my left also, farm fields. I see the farm fields, and ahead of me, the dead-end gravel country road. So it's a dead end at this end, hence it makes it very quiet. The only people, or the only vehicles you see on this particular gravel road are those that rather live here or have business to do with some of these homes. That's it, visitors, that's it. So this section, very quiet, picturesque. Oh, and I know, a trail like this isn't for everyone. A lot of people think, I don't like walking on roads. That's okay. You know, you hike your own hike, I get that. I do like country gravel roads like this. You go through farm fields, little communities, old church and schoolhouses, so on. And the farms themselves, the old barns, As a photographer, I used to love going out and hunting down old kind of barns to photograph. And over the years in my career as a landscape photographer, I sold many kind of country images like that. Oh, I can hear a farm dog barking from the farm to my right. Anyhow, yeah, the sun's really coming out. The sky's breaking up very nicely. Big patch of blue sky above me. It's gorgeous. It really is. We've got a really good day for this today. I thought this morning we could have had rain, but nope. Seems to be clearing right up. Okay. Just going to keep pushing to Tiny Marsh. Well, hello there, Mrs. Cow. I think that's how you say good morning in cow, but I'm not sure. Yeah. See little things like that on these backcountry roads. I just love these farms, farm animals. Whew, it stinks. Yeah. I think you guys are lucky that we don't have smell-o-vision yet. Yup. You can smell all the manure. Okay. Let's just keep pushing towards the marsh. So with about, I'm going to say about 3 kilometers to go to arrive at the marsh. Again, down the gravel road. Another farm. Pretty. But I just spoke to, I don't see him, well, I can see him, but he's way in the distance. A young gentleman, probably mid-20s. And he just told me, he said, I just live over there. He said, I don't see many people walking down here, he said. So I mentioned to him, I said, well, we're actually on what's called the Ganaraska Trail. He'd never heard of it. He had no idea about this being the Ganaraska Trail, and yet he lives right on the Ganaraska Trail. And the fact that he mentioned that he doesn't see many people walking down here. In fact, that's the first thing he said to me. He said, hey, he said, I just don't see many people walking down here. How you doing? He said. I said, I'm fine. And we had a chit chat for a few moments. So yeah, I think that kind of indicates how busy the trail is. Maybe through here anyhow, I don't know. Whereas I think if there was dwellings like this on a gravel road section of the Bruce Trail, those people would pretty much know that they lived on the Bruce Trail. But the Ganaraska just isn't as busy. Anyhow, thought I'd mention that. I thought it was kind of interesting. Okay, 3 more kilometers to go, and we'll get to the Loop Trail at the Tiny Marsh, which could be interesting depending on the wildlife, which is usually waterfowl that we're looking at there. But again, this time of year, of course, all the snow's gone. The water levels in the marsh is high. I think it's breeding season. Is it breeding season? I don't know. Anyhow, let's keep going. Not sure if you can see from here where there's the little kind of road sign and the hydro pole. On the right, there is a left turn blaze there, and that's going to take us into the area where we're going to start the Blue Blaze loop, and we'll do that loop before we take a break at kind of the visitor center, and the visitor center is right on the Ganaraska Trail. So yeah. I see people, hikers in there. Definitely hikers in there. In fact, I just walked right past the turn, I think. Yes, I did. There's the blaze. It's a good job I noticed those hikers, because I just walked past it. But here, right here, as worn as it is, Ganaraska Trail. So, just on a tree up here, we're going to come to the beginning, I think, of the actual loop, and we can go through the left or the right. So let's take the right side, and you'll see on this tree there's a right turn blaze for the trail. So it's on the blue blaze. There's a blue blaze in that tree. So we're doing the loop here at the Tiny Marsh. Had a nice chat with that young lady that was there. She's actually with a group, but she likes to go by herself. This time of year, as you can see, the actual broad walkway through the marsh is somewhat flooded. That's only because we've just basically finished the snow melt, and water levels probably as high as they'll ever be all year until probably next spring again. So yeah, we're on the blue blaze loop in the Tiny Marsh. Oh yeah, it's actually beautiful. I like this kind of stuff. And any hike, if you're training, I mean, I do a lot of training for my through hikes and stuff, and anything like this is training, but any hike can be as hard or almost as easy as you want it to be. Like on a trail like this, it's a flat trail. I consider it an easy trail. You might consider it easy to moderate. I'll say that simply because of the distance of 27 kilometers could be considered moderate. And also coming through the forest area and through the kind of swamp and muddy sections, that might be considered entry-level moderate. I don't know. Oh, there's... But anyhow. But what I was going to say is, if a person on a trail like this wants to get more out of it physically, just pop in a higher cadence, you know, just kick it up a notch, and give yourself a time trial. Oh, there's some more people hiking through the swamps. Good day, folks. Yeah, on a day like today, sun shining, people come out to walk through the marsh, the wetlands, see what they can see. Here we get into some mud, which is obviously quite normal. Yeah. But it does dry up relatively quickly. Although we're supposed to get a week of rain starting, I think, Friday night. Supposed to go into a wet period for about a week. That's going to keep everything muddy, that's for sure. Okay, let's just keep walking through the Tiny Marsh. The wind kind of picked up a little bit, but while we're in the sheltered area here, we can do two things at once. A, we can talk about Rachel's question, and B, we will have the camera turned on and ready for any wildlife we might see, any waterfowl. So, Rachel from Barrie, thank you for the question, appreciate it, and thank you for watching my channel. She very simply asks, or states, that first of all, she's seen different videos on footwear in regards to hiking. And this is something that she's kind of struggling with right now as her hiking progresses. She's worn hiking boots, but she's seen more and more and more videos as she looks into more long distance hikes where the hikers are using trail runners. And she wants to know what I use. Do I use trail runners? Do I use hiking boots? Which one? Well, that's an excellent question, Rachel. And thank you again for asking. So much depends on the trail. You tell me you've been hiking a while and you've always been using hiking boots, but as you expand your kind of hiking kind of desires as you think about doing other things, you're starting to look more at trail runners. Well, okay. On a day like today, in fact, I'll just show you, and I hope you do get to watch this video, Rachel, but on a day like today, we've got mud, we've got water, and it's a single day hike. And you know what? A hiking boot is just fine for these conditions. A hiking boot is actually perfect for these conditions. The people primarily that are using trail runners are more your through hikers, more your long distance hikers that's going to be hiking day after day, week after week, month after month. A trail runner is going to be much lighter, far more comfortable, will dry quicker, and these are just some of the benefits. I've watched many people with hiking boots try to do through hikes. I see them on the Bruce Trail sometimes. In fact, I remember one young gentleman, Skunk, and his dad was hiking with him, and his dad said, "Oh, my son's feet are just turned to hamburger." And they were trying to through hike the Bruce Trail, and the son was wearing hiking boots. Take a look at what I'm wearing today. What I'm wearing is Ultra Lone Peaks, and these are the 4.5s. So these are an older model, because now we're up to 7.0s. Since the 4.5s, there's been the 5.0, the 6.0, and now the 7.0 came out in February this year. The Ultra Lone Peak is undoubtedly, or the Ultra footwear, they have several. They have the Lone Peak, they have the Superior, they have the Timp, and they have the Olympus, all wide toe box basically. And again, probably the best thing I would use anyhow for hiking, be it a through hike or even a day hike. It's just because it's what I wear for hiking in. So I find a trail runner, to be honest with you, to be very, very, very comfortable. Some big name hikers, through hikers out there will use such things as, and the same shoe that I'll sometimes use too, which is the ASIC Gel Venture 7 or Gel Venture 8 or Gel Venture 6. Those are a great trail running shoe. Take for instance, if anybody watches Jay Wander's channel, he's done, he did the Arizona Trail, I watched him do that. He did the the Appalachian Trail the same year I did, last year. He uses ASIC Gel Venture 7s. But again, a trail runner. On that trail last year, I also did use the ASIC Gel Venture 7s for the rocky sections of Pennsylvania. Obviously on a trail of that length, you're going to go through several pairs of shoes by the time you complete it. So, Rachel, a lot depends on your own preferences, what works for you, and the type of trail that you are hiking. But if you are considering any kind of long distance through hike, again, day after day, week after week, I would seriously look at trail runners over a hiking boot. Again, hiking boots great for a day, a weekend, perfect, especially in the mud, in the winter, in the snow, perfect. I use my Lone Peaks, my Ultra trail runners, I use them all winter. But of course, on the trails I'm hiking in the winter, I'm usually wearing Catula spikes with them too. So, but anyhow, I hope that answers your question. What do I pick? Trail runners. What should you pick? Whatever works for you, Rachel. But again, the last time I'll mention this, if you are considering any kind of long distance through hike, please seriously look at the trail runners over the hiking boots. The weight of the hiking boot alone, it's said, an extra pound on your foot is like extra 5 pounds on your back. And that's something you don't want. Okay. So yeah, thanks for the question. And I hope it helped anybody that kind of had any interest in footwear for hiking, be it hiking boots or hiking shoes or trail runners or whatever. Group of people ahead of me. Another group as we kind of come back to where we started. I met them a little earlier on the loop. There are quite a few groups out here today. There's also a group of young, I believe, First Nation children, kids, young people, probably from school, I think from Christian Island. They're out here doing their tour. Perfect. Okay, I think from here, just around this bend ahead of us, we come back to where we started, and then we're going to head to the welcome center where the picnic tables are for break time. Break time. Fruit consisting of banana, blueberry, pineapple, and cantaloupe with a plain yogurt. Oh. There's a group. We're at that welcome center. And there's a group over there in the picnic table area under the pavilion. There's a few buildings over here. I'm not sure what they use them for. This building behind me is open today. They have washrooms in there. But one of the gentlemen that works here, or volunteers or whatever, I heard him say to some of the kids, you can use the washrooms today. The building's open. It's one of the rare occasions the building is open. So I don't know if the Welcome Center is open every day in the summertime for the people. I don't know, but it doesn't sound like it. Anyhow, I got a nice comfortable bench. Have my fruit, drink a little coffee maybe a little electrolyte water. And then, as I say, we'll punch the 12.5 kilometers back to where we started from. Yeah. It does look beautiful here. It's relaxing, peaceful. Okay, so I just went in this building. Now, it's going to be a little dark, but the camera should adjust because I came back to get the camera because it's super interesting. So it's going to be a little dark, but just start taking a look at some of this information. Pelts: raccoon, beaver, muskrat, mink, coyote. Wow. Oh, and you can feel it through here. Feeling the furs. Wow. Display of ducks. Ditches, dikes, and ducks unlimited. Huh. Isn't this interesting? Sample of all the bird nesting boxes and so on. Oh yeah. Bones, wings, information. Oh, hear that call. Osprey. Oh, it's kind of quiet. I don't know if you can hear that. Sandhill crane. Black tern. I'm not sure if you heard those, but anyhow, a presentation room, waterfowl. So that's what we did see, was a male or a mallard, male mallard. But look what's here. And then they have a presentational area, all kinds of information. Wow. Well, that was something I did not expect. That's too bad then if this isn't open on a regular basis. One thinks it should be. Maybe it is. We'll know more as we pass through here in the summertime more and see if it is open indeed. This should be shared, that's for sure. Okay, washroom break. So, a little bit of more information about that welcome center that is truly amazing. It just so happens with the school group that's here, there's a large school group here, the First Nation kids. There's also one of the wildlife kind of experts, professionals, whatever, and he used to work here, along with, I guess, a park ranger type individual person. The government cut funding. It all closed down. Now, they're only open, very limited, probably not much at all, with just the assistance of volunteers. And there's a lot of work to do. He was telling me yesterday, tomorrow, that group that's there, the adults, the supervisors in that group, they're all coming back to do some kind of ground maintenance work. Crazy. I would have thought this kind of, you know, this is Ontario, right? Because I would have thought that, you know, outdoors, wildlife, nature would have been something that here in Ontario we want our kids to kind of relate to understand, to be educated about, and to enjoy. Everybody enjoy it. I'm just totally blown away that the government cuts funding. And yet, I've said this before though, I mean, I'm from England. I've lived in Ontario for 47 years. I came here when I was 20. And when I was 20, I thought Ontario was all about the great outdoors. I was coming from England, a big industrial nation, coming from a big industrial city of Leeds of 4 million people, of factories and so on. And I was coming to Ontario, the outdoors capital of the world. But you know what? It's actually not, and it's such a shame, because it should be. It should be. But when I've been on other trails, like for instance the Colorado Trail, I mentioned on that particular trail that Ontario could take a lesson from Colorado when it comes to the outdoors, because they've got so much going on. When you hike the Colorado Trail, there's tenting areas, there's facilities, there's information. There's lots going on to encourage and promote outdoor activity. And here, we're yanking the funding and closing it down. And yet the stuff that's in there is so interesting for the young people, and not just the young people, for old miserable bastards like me to enjoy. Pardon my French. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. Okay. I guess it's just the way it is. Okay, we are now heading back down the gravel country road. Past farm fields, take a look-see. Farmland, farms in the distance. Oh yeah. Okay, and the country road. Well, let's just get to it. Back into the forest we go as we push hard on our return leg back to where we started this morning. Hey, yeah, what a day. Interesting. I got about 6.5 kilometers to go, which I'm going to push through. But I think we're going to call it a wrap. But that, for today's video. Hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed having you come along with me. Please like, share, comment. Do subscribe, please, to my channel. We need all the subscribers we can get to help the channel grow. And if you click that notification bell, every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Whoa, rocks. So you'll be sure not to miss anything. We've got some good videos coming up on gear, hikes, and so on. Answering questions all the time. We get questions all the time. At least every week, 1 or 2 questions come in. So I answer them usually when I'm out on a hike, a day hike or whatever. Anyhow, again, thank you for joining us today. And we will talk to you next time. It's Jasper, out.